Here are 4 things you can copy from the Mackenzie McDonald forehand to help improve your forehand. Now, this video is courtesy of Court Level Tennis on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe to their awesome channel. I've put their link in the description below. Now, stick around because I'm going to demonstrate this in front of the camera at the end. The first thing is, I just want to say this is actually the same forehand. It was filmed from 2 different directions. Let me actually match these up. There we go. So this is actually the same exact forehand. I'll kind of prove that to you. You can see what this is, the exact same forehand filmed from 90-degree angles. And the first idea is a high-low high swing path. And what that simply means is take your racket back high, then drop down. He's below contact, so there's the low, and then back high again. So you can see the shape of the swing is high, low, high. You want to have that feeling. You want to be up, down, up with your swing. It's going to make a huge difference in your ability for racket speed and for topspin. Now, speaking of topspin, when you're in your low position, I want you to look on the left here at the back view how the racket face is closed. You need to tilt your palm down toward the ground. The strings facing down prior to contact, and not straight down. It's not like his strings are facing straight toward the ground. His strings are at about 45 degrees. This is what allows your racket face to be square against the back of the ball. Now, you can actually see at contact how the racket face opens. That's because he's hitting very much on the top half of the racket, which then throws the top of the racket back that opens the racket face. That's not a purposeful movement. It's just the racket turns basically and rotates because of the impact. He's not doing that on purpose. But the way to get your strings to face forward at contact at your opponent is to tilt your strings down prior to hitting the ball. Please film yourself from the back and make sure that you are tilting your palm toward the ground, which tilts your strings toward the ground. That is what allows you to swing up for topspin. Now, the next idea, I want you to notice as he's contacting the ball where his left hand is since he's right-handed. This is what I call wave to the opponent. Remember, you want to take your racket back with both hands. We can see him doing this. He takes the racket back initially with both hands. Well, that's that high point, like that high, low, high. That's the first high position. You can see his head and the racket head are at the same height. Now, when he drops down, notice that as the racket drops, his non-hitting hand, his left hand goes forward. Look how as the racket goes down, his non-hitting hand goes forward. That's clearing the non-hitting hand out of the way so that he can rotate his body. So many players struggle rotating. It's because they don't effectively use that non-hitting hand. I'll show you what that looks like in front of the camera. So you should be waving to your opponent as you strike the ball. And the last thing is I want you to catch the racket with your non-hitting hand. People talk about how, players don't do this anymore. This is old school. You don't want to do this because it slows down your racket speed. Look, I don't care how fast you swing. You got to hit the ball in and making sure that you control your racket head, that you can get right back to the ready position in an efficient motion. It's going to help you play better tennis. Now, to help me demonstrate this, I've got the Topspin Pro here. To get your own for at-home practice, you know what to do. Grab my affiliate link in the description below. I'm also going to pin it in the first comment. It would mean the world to me if you got a Topspin Pro using my link, so thank you so much. The first idea is an overarching concept, which is high, low, high. Film yourself from the side hitting forehands and review the footage. Check to see that you're going high, then low, then high. What we don't want is the swing to be like a hula hoop or the swing to be like a merry-go-round where it's going around our body. That is going to make you less consistent. We want the swing shape to fit the shape of the court. So going high, low, high, and using more of that Vic Braden Ferris wheel type of swing is going to give you racket speed and also make you more consistent. So check that out with your own swing. The next idea. We want to hit topspin as we hit the ball, which means we go from below the ball to above the ball during contact, and we're spinning up the back. You can see the ball rotating on the Topspin Pro. The Topspin Pro gives you the instant feedback to know whether you hit the ball flat and there's no spin, or you swung up the back and you got the ball to rotate. But how do we do that? Well, we can actually help ourselves do that by tilting the strings down prior to contact. See, when your strings tilt down toward the ground prior to hitting the ball, it means that as you swing up to contact, remember we went low, so now we're swinging up to contact, now our strings face our target. That closed racket face allows us to swing up the back of the ball and get the ball to rotate. If your racket is straight up and down in the back, if you swing up, then the racket face is open, and that requires you rolling the racket, and it's really tough to time, or players just end up hitting flat. Now, I've had people in the comment section ask, how do I close the racket? I know that you're saying that we should close the racket, but how do we do it? Just think of your palm. See, there's a relationship between where our palm faces and where our strings point. So as your racket drops, tilt your palm down toward the ground. That's what closes the racket face. Now, you can do it by changing your grip more, but you don't have to change your grip. And if you like an Eastern, then keep it. If you like a semi-Western, then keep it. Just make sure that as your racket drops, that you tilt your palm toward the ground. That closes the racket and allows you to spin up the back of the ball. Number 3, wave to your opponent as you're striking the ball. As we hit, we want to be rotating our body. See, the body rotates, and that's what brings the racket through contact or to contact. But how do we get the body to rotate? We want to wave to our opponent with our non-hitting hand. The body rotates because the non-hitting arm clears out of the way. So we want to clear this non-hitting arm out of the way. That rotates the body and makes sure that we are spinning up the back of the ball and not hitting like this. You watch a lot of recreational players, their non-hitting arm is down. Watch the pros. When they hit the ball, their non-hitting hand is higher than contact. Watch recreational players, their non-hitting hand is lower than contact. So when you take the racket back with both hands and you're going to drop the racket to close it, that's when you want to clear that non-hitting hand out of the way. I made a video a few weeks ago where it's like you're hitting the fence or hitting the wall with this non-hitting hand. Take it back with both hands and then move it to hit the wall. That's going to allow you to rotate your hip. So at contact, it should just look like you're waving to your opponent when you strike the ball, and that'll make sure that happens. Then the last idea, I want you to catch the racket with the non-hitting hand. This is one of those tips that in the comment section, it's always, Ryan, this isn't 1978, or come on, get with the new style and the new types of swings. Look, you have to get the basics. And what I know is if you're on YouTube and you're looking for ways to improve your forehand, making your forehand more advanced or more, next gen, it's not going to help you be more consistent and like your forehand more. It's just going to complicate it more. So I really want you to finish the way Serena does, and the way Agassi would, and the way Dominic Thiem does when he's practicing. We just saw Mackenzie McDonald playing, practicing at the Australian Open, catching the racket here, simplifying the swing. And obviously an amazing collegiate record and career, and obviously an incredible player as a pro as well. So the 4 ideas: high, low, high. When you go low, close your racket and keep the strings closed until you get to the ball. So feel like your palm is down until you get to contact. Wave to your opponent when you strike the ball, spinning up the back, and then catch the racket. That also makes sure that you're waving, and then you can immediately then go back to the ready position. Now, if you're looking for people in your local area to play matches against or practice with, or if you want to find a coach who's close to you who can help you with your game, then use my link in the description and pinned in the first comment, playercourt.com/2minute tennis. When you use my link to sign up, you get 50% off. Get yourself a Topspin Pro. The link is in the description and pinned in the first comment. Practice your forehand. Practice these 4 ideas like we just learned with Mackenzie McDonald. You do, there's no doubt. You're going to gain confidence, win more matches, and play much better tennis. This is Ryan Reedy from 2minutetennis.net. You got this.